Music producers, I know you already kill it with massive synth drops, but if you want some new techniques to bring vocals into those drops and melt faces, I'm gonna run you through my method and workflow of how I made this gnarly vocal drop. The drop is that big payoff, that big impact, and that moment where people decide that you are one of their favorite artists. So you gotta put a lot of love into this part. I'm Kimera, producer, songwriter, vocalist. You can learn more about me in the description below. While the outcome might sound super complex, the keys to making an amazing, catchy drop are actually really simple. Here's my 5-step recipe. Number 1 is slicing many little vocal parts from the main content of the song. Number 2 is to be in a flow state with it, just grabbing one part at a time and committing before moving on to the next part. Number 3 is editing techniques, so pitching, time stretching, chopping, stuttering, reverses, risers, screws, panning. There's a lot we could do here. Number 4 is the use of effects plugins, which I love to do. And number 5, to keep it catchy, we need to use some repetition. So let's rewind and watch me build this out in real time. All right, so here we are in the session. Okay, so right now the beat is just super simple, just something that I can record vocals to. Fun fact, I name every single one of my tracks after fruit because I don't know what the song is gonna be called yet. How do you guys do this? How do producers name their tracks when there's no lyrics yet? Anyway, I want you to first hear the full hook into the drop to give you context, and then I'll break down all the little things I did to make this drop. So here we go.
In the day, in the night, would you run, would you fight for my love? When it's wrong or it's right, in the dark, would you light it up? When the going gets a little tough, will you show me just what you are made of? Would you stay, would you hide, are you down for the ride if it's rough? Would you fight for my love? Would you fight for my love? Would you fight for my love, my love, my love, my love?
All right, dope. That is just a fun little drop. And by the way, some people ask me about the songs in my YouTube videos. Are they released? What do I do with these? Honestly, half the time I don't know what I'm going to do with them. But I am planning to release all this as sample packs. So if you want these vocals, stay tuned because I will be dropping a sample pack with them pretty soon. Okay, so let's jump in. Key number 1, slicing little pieces of the vocal that we're gonna manipulate in the drop. And I'm just elaborating on the keys right now, but I'll walk you through each part too in just a sec. So obviously you'll see that throughout the drop, even though things are super affected, the source audio is always little clips from the song itself. And just for fun, let me show you what the original audio is. So Would You Fight, that actually comes from right here. I color coded it so I could find it.
Would you fight, would you?
So that's actually that part, but it's not the same melody anymore, and I'll explain how I did that. This part, that do 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 do, that's actually this little bit here.
Will you show me?
Show. I just cut off the sh, so it does sound like dodo. This part here, that's actually this. See if you can hear it. Yeah, excited to show you how I did that. That's been one of my favorite little effects to do lately because I'm obsessed with stutter house stuff. Key number 2 is to really be in that flow state and really just think about one part at a time. You don't have to plan the whole drop in your head. But one thing I do is I'm in Pro Tools. I use a lot of audio suite plugins and I just render everything as I go. If you're in another DAW, that's gonna be like rendering in place, printing, bounce in place, basically committing to whatever effect I'm putting on that vocal right then and there, and then I move on. So I hope you don't have commitment issues. And I even end up printing multiple effects to the same vocal part. Like this part has like tons of different effects on it just for that one clip. And sometimes I do have an idea, and when I try it, I don't like it. I can pretty much tell right away that I'm not gonna like it. Then I just delete it. I'm not forced to keep every little thing that I do. I don't mean that. I just mean if you do like it, don't think about it and come back to it later, because this already takes so long to edit. Key number 3 is editing. I do most of my chopping and stuttering by hand. A lot of people like to use things like Stutter Edit, other plugins that help you sample and chop up your vocals. A quick tip on stuttering by hand: if you have like a cool rhythm in your head and you're not necessarily sure how to translate that on the grid, record yourself singing the rhythm and then just use that audio clip as a guide for where on the grid to place your vocals. That has helped me so much. With editing, I use a lot of auto-tune. And what I do is I will just remove all of the notes. I'll set my retune speed to 0, and I will only let it hit like one specific note, right? So even though it might be hitting the note down here, I'm forcing it to hit this note. We'll recreate this part in a second. I'll show you how I do that. You've also got time stretching, reversing, making reverse reverbs, and of course panning as an effect, which that's what I'm doing right here. Okay. Key number 4 is the use of special effects plugins. If you've just met me, hello. I am obsessed with plugins and trying all kinds of new effects. So if you've got some ideas of some effects you'd want me to try, drop them in the comments below. I have an entire playlist dedicated to me running my vocals through different effects plugins, so you can hear them. You can decide if you want to buy those plugins. So I will help you try it before you buy it. And then key number 5 is using some kind of repetition in the drop so it stays stuck in our heads. So yeah, I grabbed that first part.
Would you fight?
That would you fight? And changed the would, you, and fight to different notes entirely. Actually, why don't we just like recreate that for fun right now? Option, drag. Okay, and you might notice this is a completely different shape from this. I tried to make the fight work how I wanted in my head, and it just kind of wasn't happening. So I actually re-recorded just the fight because I wanted it to like be a little more held out. This is what it did sound like when I took it from the original source. And I just thought it like cut off so awkwardly and abruptly. I did time stretch it. I pitched and formatted it down, but then I just re-recorded this and just formatted it. But let's recreate it. So I just place my cuts like so. Pop open my auto-tune audio suite. Advanced. Remove all the notes. So I see that it's hitting the F, but I think I had it would. Yeah, oh, that's an octave. That's it. Yeah, so that's it. Render that. No, it was probably C. Oh, no, not the right key. Yeah, that's the note. And then fight. Okay, so originally, this is what I did. I pitched it right here, so it was high, but then I opened up Young Pitch Monster by Devious Machines, and I just went to the format setting and dropped this a bit, and then I drop it minus 12 semitones. By the way, Pitch Monster goes all the way down to 20. Oh, gosh. No, I thought it was 24. It goes down 48 semitones. What does that sound like? It's like inaudible. So 12 is fine. What is 24? Okay, so that does sound pretty cool. Down 24 semitone formants. I don't think other formant shifting plugins go down that far, which is something to notice. But I think I just did minus 12, right? And then my formant, I think I only did like minus something, 12, 14. Yeah, something like that. Oh, it only lets us do this in stereo. This is how I cheat that and select 2 mono tracks, process it, and just delete that part. Looks like it created some crazy artifact in the beginning, but anyway, it's late on the grid, so I wanted to push it over anyway. And then I just used my good old time stretcher to pull it out to probably like here. And then it sounds like this. Cool. But then I re-recorded that part and it sounds like this. I think that sounds better, to be honest. Okay, and then all the red stuff, that's all same kind of vibe. Auto-tune to create a new melody. And then here I created even more melody with it, but I duplicated it, so there's our repetition, and pitched down the first half of it. Kind of cool. This is definitely, I think back in the day, Marion Hill's Down was like, I love that sound. And I've been obsessed ever since I heard that song. And I've been doing this little auto-tune trick ever since. So go check out Down by Marion Hill if you haven't heard that song. Okay, then we got this, my love, my love. I did a lot of things. I basically processed a bunch of effects until I was satisfied. So the first one I processed on this, because I wrote it down, was Portal by Output. And I just used one of my favorite settings. Super cool. So I did that. And then the second thing I used was Soundtoys Micro Shift. Love this. Gives it like some width, some kind of stereo feel, even though it's a mono track. Just adds some kind of depth and texture. Then I copied and pasted this so it plays 4 times. And each time it's a little different. So check this out. So what is going on here? This one comes around and I add baby audio tape. A lot of really, really cool sounds in here. The presets are, I mean, look, it's incredible. I'm not even gonna lie to you. What did I do? I opened this preset menu and I went like this. And I just picked one. I don't know which one it was. I don't remember, but I literally rolled the dice and just liked the way it sounded, so I committed to it. Rendered that. Lastly, I did some EQ things. It happens 4 times, right? The first one doesn't have tape. The second one does. Same with this doesn't. The second one does. However, they still don't all sound the same because on the middle 2, I just did some low pass filter, high pass filter differently on each time. So what did we do on this one? Yeah, this one's all high. And then this one's all low. Okay, it feels like negligible, but like when you're in that flow state and you just make these little tweaks, like it's so impressive. The listener has no idea how much attention to detail you put. You might not even remember how much detail you put in because you were just flowing with it. You were just going. You're like, oh, I'll do this. Okay, let's do this next. Let's do this. Hey, let's just EQ these 2 parts. You're moving so quickly sometimes you don't even know what's happening. Let's go to this part next. This, oh, I love this vibe. Here's the original audio too. And I think I only took this. Yeah, you can see the chop. I only took the first half. And then, so this is the original. And then I ran it through Soundtoys Tremolator. This is the easiest way to get this sound effect, okay, guys? It's this preset right here. Complex rhythms, cool too. And I didn't do shit after that. You gotta make sure you have your correct tempo set though for your session. Don't mess that up. So that's it. Render that. And look. Ah! I didn't have to do any like crazy weird things that you guys have to do and like serum and all that. Big tip. Now, if you notice this little yellow bit, why is it yellow? I turned it yellow because I wanted to show you that I used it to create this reverse reverby rise effect. And it is like, whoa. Let's listen to that one more time. Okay, that's so cool. That's definitely going in the sample pack. How did we do it? I just snipped a little bit of this. And when I do reverses in the song context, I always want to use the note from whatever the next like vocal part's gonna be. If the next line is my love, I want the ma. So it's like my love. So since the focus is that, I want it to grab a piece of that. Doesn't matter where it is on the grid for now. We are going to move it. Select my region of how long I want the reverb to be. I pick a reverb, probably Valhalla. Let's go with vintage verb. I love just the default setting on vintage verb. So let's just print that. Next, I reversed it. Boom. And then I move it. And where I want this to land, pretty much at the beginning of the vocal part. Like it kind of almost can overlap a little bit and like land at the same time. However, I didn't do just that. This is a nice sound for sure. And there's some panning going on, I'm sure you can hear. We used Transit 2 by Baby Audio in collaboration with Andrew Huang. This is a really sick plugin. It's so fun to play with. Check out these presets. It's organized in a really neat way. I wanted this to be like a transition. I think it was like some like acid thing. Oh, that's the one. It was Acid Joy. Okay, Andrew, what are you doing in that studio? We're not done yet. Let's add a nice long fade. Oh, I love that little crisp at the end. Nice, 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 nice. What's happening with the panning here? So basically, the first time we hear it, it pans from left to right. Second time we hear it, it pans from right to left. And then the last time we hear it, since it ended on the left, I left it there. And then I panned it to center. And then all hell breaks loose. This is not the same. And then here. Oh, hold on, before we even get to that part. So I ran this through Verify. It's kind of bending into the note. Yeah, that's the setting I did. Extend, speed up. Then when I arrived here, grabbed a little bite, I stuttered a 64th note. I wanted it to sound like the machine is breaking. I like that vibe. But I also wanted it to be burnt to a crisp a little bit more. And so I ran it through another plugin, AC1. Oh, I gotta show you this. By Audio Hertz. It is like the old school car air conditioning. Oh my God, I love it. If you haven't seen it yet, I also have a video where I demo their fan plugin. It looks like the old school blue fan that you could sing into. So much fun. So I used this plugin to burn this part to a crisp, and it sounds like this. Like, whoa. I just like something kind of crazy towards the end. So we get to the end and it's like, boom, mic drop. So we've got our continuity here by repeating these do-do-do-dos. But then over here, switched it up a little bit and I didn't do the same pattern. I just did. And for that one, I used Little Altar Boy. And then we come full circle with just the, I like that a lot. So now that you have like the full scope of what's going on under the hood, let's listen with just the kick and see how it comes together. Oh, I love that. I think the biggest thing for me with making my drops is which plugins I'm gonna use for the special effects. And I'm constantly seeking out new plugins so my sound always stays fresh. Don't settle for the plugins you've been using for years. Click here to listen to the way this next plugin sounds when I run vocals through it, and I'll see you over there.